Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Facts Over Feelings podcast. We're back here on episode 3. It's a little late.
Finally.
I'm sorry, I was gone for a while, and then we just couldn't get around to getting another episode in, but we wanted to get one more in before we went back to school.
Literally waiting till the 11th hour, but we're here now.
But we're here. We're here just in time for the college football final game tonight, and we're here to talk about a lot of NFL reactions to the divisional round yesterday and Saturday. We had a lot of games, a lot of good games this weekend, and we just wanted to start off by just discussing these games and just kind of breaking them down. What did we learn from them?
Absolutely.
And, the first game that we want to talk about, the Vikings.
We'll go right in chronological order. The Vikings,
sure.
49ers.
Start off with that game.
Obviously, San Francisco winners, 27-10.
Yep.
Their D-line looked as good as ever. They got D Ford back. They got Quan Alexander back for that game. The Vikings looked overwhelmed, and I think the biggest question on San Francisco is, are they the team to beat, and are they the most well-rounded team left in these playoffs?
I mean, listen, I think the bye week was massive for them. So I think beating Seattle in week 17 was really, really important because they were injured. They had a bunch of injuries, especially on the defensive side. But they were riddled with injuries the whole season. But that bye week really helped them get fully healthy, and I think with a fully healthy Niners team, especially a Niners defense, they showed that they can just overwhelm most teams. And I think they can they clearly overwhelmed the Vikings, and I think that they'll overwhelm the Packers again. Mm-hmm. We'll talk about that a little later, but I think the Packers, they got overwhelmed once with the Niners earlier in the season, and I just don't see I don't see a way they can beat the Niners again. But, I don't know. I just don't really know if a team can beat the Niners, especially, I don't know.
I definitely think Kansas City, if they can get by Tennessee, will be a formidable opponent for San Francisco. But I agree with you on San Francisco.
Yeah.
I think the spread on that game, 7 points. I think San Fran will cover.
Oh, for the Green Bay San Fran game?
Green Bay has a very solid defense, but that defense in the second half looked a little lost against Seattle until they got the big stop and the big sack at the end of the game.
Yep.
I agree with you. San Francisco is probably the most well-rounded team. That bye week was huge for them. They got healthy on the defensive side of the ball. Kyle Shanahan is probably coach of the year at this point. At least in my opinion, he's coach of the year. He's done an unbelievable job with that offense. Mm-hmm. And San Francisco doesn't really have a weakness. If you want to argue that Jimmy Garoppolo is the weakness, great. And if I'm a San Francisco fan, I feel great about that being a weakness because Jimmy Garoppolo is a very good quarterback in this league. They have 3 very solid running backs, Breida, Coleman, Mostert. Mm-hmm. They have Emmanuel Sanders they added midseason, which was a very underrated move. I think that went a little quiet in the NFL, but he's been really good for them. Mm-hmm. San Francisco's tough, man. I just don't think Green Bay's good enough to beat them.
No, I don't either.
Aaron Rodgers in the past, if he was in his prime, I could say, Aaron Rodgers will be special enough to win this game. But I just think San Francisco's just a little bit better, a little bit healthier. And look, Green Bay, they were a one-trick pony. They threw the ball to Devontae Adams. That was the only chance they had to beat Seattle. There was no way San Francisco was going to let Devontae Adams get 100.
Especially with their secondary?
Exactly.
Yeah.
No way San Francisco is going to let Devontae Adams beat them, which means Alan Lazard and Kumaro and Geronimo Allison are going to have to beat that San Francisco secondary, and that's just not happening.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. I don't know. I mean, their D-line, best in the NFL for sure. Mm-hmm. It's monstrous. You saw that against the Vikings. They tried to run
5 first-round picks on that D-line. They're all
that's crazy.
To be really good players.
Oh yeah. No, they tried to run play action. Nothing worked. So I don't know. This Niners team healthy when Jimmy Garoppolo is your biggest weakness. I think that I've said it for a while. I think Jimmy G's their biggest weakness, and that's not like a knock on Garoppolo. It's kind of like a nod to the team and how well-rounded the team is. That I just think that team's the most complete team in football. We can talk after we talk about all these games, what we think, if anyone can beat them in the Super Bowl. But I don't know. They look like they're rolling at the right time. So
moving on to the most mind-boggling result of the weekend.
I wasn't expecting it.
I was not expecting it either. The Titans-Ravens game, the Saturday night game in Baltimore. Wow. All the hype around Lamar Jackson, MVP is what people are calling him. Mark Ingram, the infamous interview, anointing Lamar Jackson the MVP, but he did not look like the MVP Saturday night. What happened to Lamar Jackson? Was he exposed? Will this be a weakness for the rest of his career? Was this just a bad game? What happened to the Ravens?
What did happen to the Ravens? Well, just to start off the game, they just didn't get off on the right foot. You can just look at the box score and you can see that. Lamar Jackson, I think he threw the ball 59 times 59 times.
That was not the game plan.
And when Lamar's throwing the ball 59 times and you have Ryan Tannehill on the other side throwing 14 times, like, just look at, you can just see right there, like, which team just dominated the game and just executed their game plan. They just punched them down their throat. And I just think this is a really good example of just don't get too cocky going into the playoffs. And, like, they were 14-2, right? The Ravens?
They lost since September.
Since they lost to the Browns. Yeah, the glory days. No, but they hadn't lost in a long time. You know, Mark Ingram started talking. Earl Thomas started talking a little bit. Started saying, you know, we're going to make sure Derrick Henry doesn't run over us. And, I mean, look what happened. They didn't really slow him down. They didn't make sure of that very well. Yeah, so I don't know. It's just everything went wrong for them. The defense couldn't stop Derrick Henry. They couldn't convert a 4th and 1 when they did all year. It was just a lot of little things. I mean, Lamar struggled throwing the ball. I mean, he completed half his passes. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. It wasn't all Lamar.
No,
Lamar did not play his best game. There were a lot of drops. I think what set the tone for the game was the Titans got the ball first. The Ravens got a quick stop. And then the Ravens were marching down the field on their first possession. And then Lamar Jackson threw a little bit of an inaccurate pass to Mark Andrews.
A little high.
It was tipped. In my opinion, Andrews should have caught it. And Kevin Byard caught it, returned it, and then the Titans went to score a touchdown. And for me, that set the tone for the rest of the game.
Yep.
I just think the Ravens were manhandled up front. Tennessee's O-line was moving people out of the way. Derrick Henry was doing what Derrick Henry's been doing the last 3 weeks of the season and the playoffs. And look, Baltimore got punched in the mouth early, as you said, and they never really recovered. And this is going to be an interesting debate talking about John Harbaugh resting the starters week 17, and people arguing, was that too much rest? Was there rust? Baltimore, to me, certainly looked rusty. They certainly did not look sharp.
Yeah.
And they got out of their game plan too early. They got down 14-3, and I think they started pressing way too early. And on the broadcast, Tony Romo said this yesterday during the Houston-Kansas City game. The biggest issue with trying to overcome a deficit is you start trying to do too much instead of doing your job, taking it one play at a time.
Yep.
And I think the Ravens panicked and pressed a little too early, and the Titans did a great job taking it to them and not letting off the gas pedal.
Yeah.
Was Lamar exposed? Maybe a little bit, but I think it was more just a bad game for him. I think he's going to have a very good career going
Of course
forward.
he will.
And
of course
Baltimore is going to be right back in this position next year, and they're going to learn from this. But I think Tennessee deserves more of the credit for putting together a great game plan. And Derrick Henry, man, he is unbelievable.
He really is. I mean, it's just, I don't know. You just look at the game and you see there was just everything went wrong. I mean, a bunch of drops by the receivers. The defense just didn't look the same. I mean, I don't know. Ryan Tannehill, 14 pass attempts. Like I just, and they won by 16. That's just crazy.
Well,
That's crazy.
You know what Tennessee's going to be doing going forward.
Yeah.
Derrick Henry's going to get 30 touches a game at least.
Yep. I mean, that's what he's averaging in the postseason, right? Around 30 touches. I mean,
look at the Titans, man.
Yeah.
I mean, that's two of the most impressive wins.
Back to back?
Going into Foxborough, maybe ending the New England dynasty, and then going into Baltimore, 14-2, best team in the NFL, and taking it to them.
Mm-hmm.
Really impressive stuff from the Titans. Good job. Kudos to them. Good luck against Kansas City, though, because...
Yeah, we'll talk. Yeah, well, we do want to talk about that game, and I mean, I watched that game yesterday, and that was.
I watched that game too.
Unbelievable.
That was one of the wildest things I've ever. I have never seen. First of all, Kansas City getting down 24-0.
24-0.
In the blink of an eye, and I was like, and the scary thing is, I never really thought it was over.
That's crazy.
That's crazy. 24-0, and
to almost any other team.
Exactly.
They're done.
But, I mean, this was a... I'll hand it off to you in a second. But
that's okay.
Was this more of a combination of Kansas City just turning it up? Or was it Houston giving the game away? Or what happened to the Texans after they got up 24-0?
Well, I don't really... It's tough to say because they're up 24-0. And you're sitting there and you think the momentum's all in Houston's favor, right? I mean, Mahomes has to come out and... That's okay.
Do you think the Texans should have gone for it on 4th and 1 or kicked that field goal? That's been a controversial... People are arguing, going for the field goal lets them off the hook, cutting, that's like the knockout punch. You're up 21-0, 4th and 1, you get that, put up 7, 28-0.
Yeah.
Is that the knockout punch?
I mean, listen, I think I mean, it's tough it's always easy to say looking back.
Exactly.
I think also you have the momentum, right? You're up what, 21-0. You have a lot of momentum.
You're driving.
It's 4th and 1. I think you probably go for it with the momentum all in your favor like that. I think it's tough to want to go out and kick a field goal. I mean, I get it's points, But I don't know. I probably would have gone for it, but it's easy to say that looking back. I don't know. I just think I just think the better teams showed up. I don't know. I think Mahomes showed that he's the best quarterback in football. I think that second quarter was insane. 4 touchdowns. 4 touchdowns. I think they had 6 straight possessions. 7 straight possessions of points.
Yeah, that just shows you how...
It was unbelievable. And then... Yeah.
I think for the 4th and 1 topic in question, I don't necessarily think going for the field goal changed the game. I mean, I don't think that 4th and 1 play, whether they go for it or not, decides the game. Taking the points in that situation, in my opinion, is not the worst call ever.
No, it's not the worst.
Would I have gone for it? Yes, because it was 4th and half a yard, and you have Deshaun Watson who can run it, throw it, hand it off, do whatever. The changing point of the game was that questionable 4th and 3 call, where they did the fake punt at their own 30-yard line. Kansas City
Did you see Daniel Sorensen on that play? I don't know if you rewatched it. He saw it the entire way.
He did.
That was
fantastic. To say, Houston motioned the guy who ended up getting the snap to the left and the right. And Daniel Sorensen followed him both ways, which should have been a trigger for the special teams coordinator that Sorensen is on that fake. They snapped the ball anyways. He made a great tackle. It looked like they were actually going to get it. Sorensen actually made a great tackle.
Yeah.
But that changed the course of the game because that got the crowd back in it. That gave Kansas City a short field. And what do you know? Kansas City scores in like 2 or 3 plays after that. And then obviously the kickoff. The kickoff gives Kansas City the ball back. And at that point, I think everyone thought Kansas City was going to run away with it.
Yeah.
Down 24-14, I think everyone thought Houston was going to lose after that fumble at the kickoff.
Yeah.
And look what happened. They lost by 20. I mean, that's unbelievable.
It's unbelievable. I mean, they outscored them at one point. It was 41 unanswered points.
Yeah.
Which is insane. And you look at I don't know. It's the Houston defense. That's the problem. That's the main issue. Okay.
Yeah, I don't think it was a very good game plan by Houston, and they didn't adjust very well. They put a rookie safety on Travis Kelce in single coverage for most of the game, and Kelce went off.
I mean, Kelce had the game of his life.
They refused to blitz Mahomes, it seemed like.
Mahomes got sacked 0 times.
Exactly.
He didn't get sacked once.
I mean, when he gets to sit back in the pocket and pick you apart, it's game over.
Especially with that secondary.
I mean, when the Chiefs are on this run where they're scoring 4 touchdowns in a row, 5 touchdowns in a row, if I'm the Houston D coordinator, how am I not trying to adjust, mix something up, do something different? I'm not a football guy.
They were on their heels.
Right.
They didn't.
The Houston defense just looked lost.
They did.
Kudos to Kansas City, and
right.
Even when they were down 24-0, it was all their mistakes. They dropped the passes. Tyreek Hill muffed the punt.
Yep, Demarcus Robinson dropped a few passes.
Exactly.
Yeah. Very true.
It was not like Houston was doing anything special. It was Kansas City beating themselves. And once Kansas City stopped beating themselves, you saw what they did.
Yeah. No, no doubt.
Houston 51-7.
That's crazy. I mean, it shows you that the better team ends up coming out the victor. I mean, I don't know. It's just they just looked like the better team. I don't know. They looked straight unstoppable. You're right. I mean, Travis Kelce just that's insane. He had 10 catches in the game. No other receiver had more than 3. So he just straight dominated that game. And Houston just seemed to not be able to adjust. I don't know what it was. J.J. Watt just looked like a non-factor. I don't know if the injury is bothering him or.
But J.J. Watt is someone that will never win you a Super Bowl. He's not going to impact the game like that. Yeah. He's a great player. He's past his prime. He's a great person, but he's not alone going to win you. And they need this. Houston needs help in their secondary. Their secondary looked terrible.
It was just it looked terrible. Yeah, there's no other way to put it. I mean, they are the worst red zone defense in football as well. So it's just
Kansas City exposed that.
They really did. And the last game on Sunday night, another really good game actually. The Seahawks versus the Packers.
That was a great game.
It really was a good game. So going into the game, looking at the regular season, a lot of people started talking about Aaron Rodgers, and they started to say, has he lost the step? Is he not as good as he was? Is he still elite? And a lot of people said he wasn't. And I don't know. I feel like this game has to prove that he still has the ability to win you games when it matters most. Doesn't it?
Aaron Rodgers didn't statistically have as good of a year. He didn't look as good. But the Packers won 13 games.
They did.
I mean, people are forgetting that the Packers won 13-3, and everyone's acting like Aaron Rodgers can't play football anymore.
Yeah.
Again, Seattle, I thought, didn't do a great job on defense adjusting.
No, especially
Devontae Adams was killing them the whole game. They had no answer for him.
Yep.
And on that last play where he got the long pass, they put a rookie safety, Amani is his name. They didn't even put Shaq Griffin or Trey Flowers on him. So, again, I felt like
Yeah.
Seattle didn't do a great job adjusting on defense, and their offense was slow in the first half, and the lead just felt like it was a little too much. A little too much for Green Bay's lead was a little too much to overcome.
No, it was. Yeah, I think so. And I don't know. I mean, Seattle in the second half especially, they just couldn't get a stop on third down. Like, it was unbelievable. They had third down after third down. It was 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9, 3rd and 10, and it was just Rodgers would somehow get
and
the
that's
first.
credit to Aaron Rodgers, making big throws.
And a lot of people are going to point to this last play. I'm sure you've seen it, where Jimmy Graham, they claimed he was short, and everyone's just, all the Seahawks fans are going to blame the refs for that. And listen, that yellow line is an unofficial line.
I was about you beat me to it. That is not the official first down line.
Exactly.
If you look at the chain is in front of the hash mark where Graham is. Graham got the first down. If you look at where
at the very least, it's inconclusive. At the
exactly.
Very least.
No way you can prove if he got it or not. That's just the Seattle fans being babies. I personally hate the Seahawks. I'm glad they lost. I'm a Cardinals fan. Their fans are the most annoying in football. Green Bay's are not far behind. But, yeah, I mean, Aaron Rodgers played a great game.
He did. I mean, it's funny
because it was a really good game. And Wilson played a great game in the second half. It was a great football game.
He did. It was classic Russell Wilson. He tried to step up in the second half. Marshawn Lynch had 2 touchdowns, which is kind of funny.
I think Green Bay made the mistake of getting the big lead early to force Seattle out of their game.
Oh.
And to force Russell Wilson to
throw
the ball more.
Which isn't always a good thing. Which is never a good thing, honestly.
When Russell Wilson throws the ball more?
Yeah. You want Russell Wilson to throw the ball a lot more? I don't know. I mean,
he's pretty good at throwing the ball.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
you would want Russell Wilson. Oh, you're from a Seahawks perspective. My bad.
Yeah.
From an opposing team's perspective, you would not.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm sorry.
I was a little slow to that one. Excuse me.
That was my bad. But I mean, Aaron Jones didn't even have a good game. I mean, he averaged like 3 yards a carry. I mean, other than one run, he had like.
I thought Green Bay did a decent job sticking to the run for the most part. Seattle did a good job on it. And look, Aaron Rodgers made the throws when he had to.
But I mean, that just shows you they stuck to their game plan, even if the run game wasn't being as effective as
you got to credit Matt
normally
there.
Is.
Correct. He stuck to the game plan. The running game wasn't great, but it was effective enough to where it kept the Seattle defense honest.
Yep.
And I also credit him for those 3rd and 9, 3rd and 10s where he could have easily just ran the ball. For Seattle to take a timeout.
Yes.
Aaron Rodgers is still your best player. You need to put the ball in his hands and
have him make a play.
He won you the game.
Yeah, and some of the receivers stepped up. I mean, Geronimo Allison had a big catch on a 3rd down at the end of the game. I mean, I don't know. LaFleur outcoached Pete Carroll. I mean, I think
he did. I think he did too.
And also, this is also hasn't been talked about as much. Darius Smith and Preston Smith,
2 pass rushers the Packers picked up in the offseason.
Yep.
Were critical in that game.
Oh, yeah.
Somehow Darius Smith didn't make the Pro Bowl, and he had 13.5 sacks in the regular season. He had
Unbelievable.
2 yesterday.
He's had a fantastic season.
He'll end up getting on the roster because guys will drop out, but that's a little
mind-boggling that he didn't make.
Yeah.
That he didn't make the Pro Bowl roster.
Yes. Yeah.
If Green Bay, this is a little sidetrack here.
It's okay.
We're talking about how San Francisco is the most well-rounded team, and in your opinion, how can Green Bay beat San Francisco?
After that first meeting where
I mean, you look at that first game, and
they dominated them up front.
Here's the thing. I mean,
did everything right.
San Francisco's D-line is absolutely insane. The only way you can beat that team is somehow you have to try to
neutralize that D-line.
Well, you have to try to establish the run, and then what you have to do is quick passes. You cannot. Rodgers can't do his classic sit in the pocket for 4 or 5 seconds and make magic happen because you won't have the time.
And I think Rodgers is going to
have to be able to
get out of
the pocket, escape, and make plays that
when the play breaks down.
Yep.
Like typical prime Aaron Rodgers, rolls out of the pocket, finds
a way to make a play when the play breaks down.
Yep.
San Francisco is going to force plays that
it won't work.
Yep.
Rodgers is going to have to find a way to escape and do something. I don't know how.
Yeah, I mean, they just have to do quick passes, and he has to somehow escape out of the pocket and make some plays. But the only weakness on that San Fran defense is one of their corners, Akeem Witherspoon, I think is his name, and he's been really struggling the last 2 weeks. They're probably going to bench him, but if they don't, they have to go at him early. He has been the only weakness on that defense, and if Green Bay wants to get out and score quick, they got to go after him. But yeah, I guess we'll see how that game goes. I still think San Francisco is going to win that game pretty easily. I mean, it's in San Francisco.
Yeah, I think San Francisco's going to win.
They're rolling.
I don't think it's going to be as easy as the first time. I think Green Bay will definitely have
motivation that they're going to be heavy underdogs.
I also think I trust Rodgers over Jimmy G in a playoff game still.
I would agree with that.
So it'll be a little bit closer.
If I had to guess right now, I'm going to go San Francisco's going to
win that game 24, maybe a little higher scoring.
I'm going to go 28-20 San Francisco.
28-20? Mm-hmm. Okay. I mean, that's a pretty good score. I mean, I'd go 24-17.
A little lower score.
24-13, actually. I lied.
Wow. Only 13 points. Okay.
Yes. The San Francisco defense is too good, I think. But we'll see what happens. And I just want to bring up the next championship game real quick before we move on. The upcoming Titans-Chiefs game. Mm-hmm. I mean, everyone's going to count out the Titans again. I mean, to be fair, I kind of am too. I think the Chiefs are going to win. Their offense is way too good.
I do think the Chiefs are going to win.
And I think their pass defense is, I think it's gotten much better. But
Tennessee has the style of play to beat Kansas City.
Oh, they do, yeah. I mean, well, as long as they can hold the ball, as long as they have time of possession.
If Derrick Henry can run the ball effectively,
eat up clock, keep Mahomes on the sidelines. Exactly. That's your only chance of winning.
Chance they have.
Because the problem is
Kansas City can score in 3 plays.
I think
can score in a minute.
I think there was a string of series where they scored on 3-2-3. It was plays.
I mean, Kansas City can score
in the blink of an eye.
A blink of an eye. So I think 2 things for Tennessee if they want to win this game.
It's what everyone's going to be saying all week. But one, you have to be able to
establish the run, eat up clock.
Yep.
You have to be physical up front. 2, on defense, you have
to limit Kansas City's big plays.
Well, you have to pressure Mahomes. That's what you have to do.
I agree.
Houston couldn't pressure Mahomes, and look where that got them. You gotta pressure him somehow.
And limit the big play. Force Kansas City to go on a 10-12
play drive. Mm-hmm. At least force Kansas City to methodically go down the field. You can't let them get a big play
and score like that because that's how they get momentum. But Tennessee's going to have to be able to score.
They put up 28 against Baltimore. That might not be enough to beat Kansas City.
It probably won't be enough.
I mean,
if I'm Tennessee, I'm thinking you got to get at least 24, 27, probably 30 points to win this game. But
yep, at the very least. I mean, your defense is going to have to step up, and we'll see if they can make the plays.
And I think Tannehill's going to have to make a throw.
Yes, he will.
I don't think Derrick Henry's going to solely be able to beat Kansas City like he has.
Well, I mean, because the thing is, let's say Derrick Henry takes over, and he leads them all the way down the field. They score a touchdown, 10 or 12 play drive. Then you have Mahomes come back out and he scores in 4 plays. And it's like, okay, Derek,
go back out again and do it again. And eventually,
he'll tire out.
Kansas City's just going to throw enough
bodies at him to where Tannehill's going to have to throw.
So we'll see if Tannehill can beat them. I mean, we'll see.
I don't think he can, but
stranger things have happened. Clearly.
I'm going to go 34-21 Kansas City.
Wow. Okay. That's not a bad score. I'd go a little bit more low scoring. I'd go 31-17. I just think Kansas City pulls away at the end. I think.
I agree. Yeah. I think both teams are going to cover. Kansas City 7.5, San Francisco 7. They'll both cover.
Okay.
And Kansas City, San Francisco Super Bowl. If we do get that would be a treat. So.
It really would be. It would be. I mean, I've wanted it for a while, so we'll see what happens. But there were also a lot of other things that happened since the last time we talked. Most importantly, the head coaching vacancies have all been filled. Each team has hired a head coach, and I don't know. I mean, some people were surprised by some of the hires. I think mostly the Giants and the Browns had the most surprising hires.
The Giants hiring is
interesting to say the least.
It's very interesting. Now, a lot of people are criticizing it, and I feel like a lot of times you need to sit back and wait. You need to sit back and wait with these coaches.
I agree.
Because a lot of times these coaches come out of nowhere. All right, these coaches come out of nowhere.
I agree.
Especially in recent years. I mean, you look at the classic Sean McVay and even Matt LaFleur. Like what was he? Was he at Tennessee before?
He was the coordinator at Tennessee. I think.
Were they anything special when he was there? Not really. So I just think you have to wait and see how these coaching hires turn out. But I mean, Joe Judge had a really good press conference. I don't want to drag this on too long, but he mentioned I don't want to hear what my players can't do. I want you to tell me what they're good at. What can they do for me so I can just fit them into the scheme. He wants to just I don't know, he just seemed very upbeat, very good disciplinarian.
And again,
I just think that he sounded really good. He said all the right things, and I think a lot of coaches have done that. Freddie Kitchens did that last year. He said all the right things, and look how that turned out. But I think, you just got to give these coaches a chance. Just see how they do in their first season.
I agree. It's an interesting hire because Joe Judge wasn't even an offensive or defensive coordinator.
No, special teams
coordinator, so he doesn't really have a specialty per se.
Not really. I mean, but there are some special teams head coaches. I mean,
True.
Harbaugh, right?
He's
a special teams coach.
But
yes, it's uncommon.
It's interesting who his
staff is going to be. I kind of want to know who he'll get for D coordinator, O coordinator.
I believe they hired the former Dolphins D coordinator for their defensive coordinator spots. So I don't know. That's kind of a strange hire, but you never know.
The Giants have made 2 bad coaching decisions in a row with
Ben McAdoo and Pat Shurmur.
Yep.
Joe Judge seems like he's saying all the right things.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, if you don't know football, you will lose in this league. So
we'll
see. I'm not too high on the hiring, but good for Joe Judge.
Yeah.
I actually like the other 3 hires, though.
Do you really?
The Matt Rule one is the only reason I don't like the Matt Rule one is because his contract is so
It's
long.
massive. I forget how many years it was, but it was like 70 million.
Contract.
$70 million.
That just seems like what if Carolina sucks for the next 3 years?
What do you do?
Yeah, you can't get out of it unless you buy him out, which is probably going to be at least $30-40 million. Look, Matt Rule is an excellent football coach. Don't get me wrong. He turned around 2 football programs that were in
disarray.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
In 2 years.
Yeah.
I mean, people thought Baylor should have been shut down. He comes in, and in 2 years, Baylor's back in the Sugar Bowl, which is incredibly impressive.
Yeah, no doubt.
Now, coaching at the NFL level is a lot different. But the guy can coach. 7 years seems like a very long time. Kind of like the John Gruden contract in Oakland, where he got 10 years.
Although, hey, he turned it around this year.
Right, and it's worked out so far.
But we'll see.
Going forward, but I actually like Matt Rule. I think that's a good hire by Carolina.
Okay.
I don't mind the guy, just the contract's a little interesting.
Well, I also think, and just real quick, it's really interesting. They gave him full organizational power. So he
really,
yeah, I believe
that.
So now he's gonna make like the primary decisions in regards to all the coaches. I believe the GM. I don't even know if they're gonna have a GM, but if they hire a GM, he's gonna have a major say in that. And it's kind of similar to what Josh McDaniels wanted to do with the Browns. And part of the reason the Browns didn't hire him is because apparently he wanted to tear down everything, and rebuild it his way, which I guess the Browns didn't think that they needed to tear everything down. I think they just wanted to do a quick turnaround.
I think McDaniels would have been a great fit.
Okay.
I think McDaniels is arrogant.
Did you want to talk about the Browns hiring at all?
Stefanski?
Yeah, I don't know if you... What do you thought about
people have been skeptical of it, but I don't think it's a bad hire. Again, the guy hasn't done anything yet. It's hard to rule him out as a head coach.
Yep.
I like where the Browns are going with the analytics and all that. And I think Stefanski was for that. I'm not sure. I didn't pay. You know this probably more than I do.
No, he was very, very big on that.
But I think Stefanski is a very calm presence, not a big ego. Seems like a guy that's just about his business. I honestly think he did a very good job in Minnesota for the most part. I mean, Kirk Cousins is limited, and he won a playoff game with Kirk Cousins.
Beat the Saints.
I mean, Dalvin Cook is one of the best running backs in the NFL. He's done a great job with that. I don't think it's a bad hire at all. And I'm curious to see how he does with Baker.
Yeah, no, it'll be really, really interesting. I mean, I mentioned this to you, and we also talked about earlier that being a great coordinator does not mean that you're going to be a great head coach. And I think that people need to realize that. People need to realize a lot of people are being very emotional and saying, wow, he just lost to San Fran and now they're hiring him.
Well
listen.
A lot of people would lose to San Fran.
Exactly. And it's one game. You don't want to make your coaching hire based off of one game. If you're doing that, you're doing it wrong. And I'm not like defending the hire. I don't know a lot about him. All I know is that he's very big on the analytics side of football, and the Browns are fully embracing that. And for once in a long time, the Browns are finally like headed in one direction, and they have one like unified goal, and they're using analytics to do that. And I think like for the first time in a while, maybe this will turn around.
The Browns have a good team.
They do. I mean, they do.
I wouldn't be surprised if Stefanski works out as a head coach. The Browns can make the playoffs next year.
I mean, look at the roster he has. I mean,
an unbelievable offense, a very young and promising defense.
I mean,
obviously Garrett should come back.
He will,
but we don't know about the Garrett situation.
We don't.
But yeah, if you guys can figure it out, you have a talented roster.
Yeah, we have a more talented roster on the offensive side at least than the Vikings. I mean, I think. And Stefanski loves running the ball. We have Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt.
There you go.
And if he can run it effectively, he loves running play action, bootlegs. And I told you this too, Baker was the highest graded quarterback on bootlegs last year. And Stefanski loves running those. So I think, I just hope, I think the fit's there. And as long as he can lead the team, as long as he can keep them in line, all those personalities, and we always say that.
I think the biggest issue with the Browns last year, more than anything else, was just the lack of discipline. And the lack of like organization or just organized.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Penalties.
Yep.
The lack of direction in terms of wanting to run the ball, develop Baker. No real leadership structure.
And I don't know if
Stefanski can stabilize everything.
Hopefully. I don't know if you knew this, but apparently Freddie Kitchens, all week, the staff would develop a game plan. And then going into Sunday, he would ignore the game plan and call his own plays. So it's just things like that, like what is
That's
the head coach doing? Like, why are you game planning all week? Your whole staff works hard to get a game plan, and you just ignore it, and you're just too stubborn. And I don't know, he just totally changed his tune, and it was unbelievable.
That's incredible.
It's just things like that. You can't have that, especially with the Browns.
I agree.
So yeah. I don't know if we want to talk about anything else in the NFL. I think maybe we want to mention real quick Brady.
Yeah.
The Patriots lost to the Titans, as we said, in New England. Is Brady done? Is he done winning Super Bowls? Is he done making Super Bowls? He's 42 years old? Can he continue making the playoffs and winning Super Bowls? Does he even stay in New England?
I do think he stays in New England.
Okay.
I don't see Brady going anywhere. And after reading his most recent Instagram picture, I don't think he's going anywhere.
Okay.
I think New England can contend again next year.
You think so?
I still think they're going to win.
You don't think this is the end of the dynasty?
Well, it depends on
Well, then,
do we consider a 12-4 season and a loss in the playoffs the end of the dynasty?
Well, I think the end of the dynasty is. I think the full end is when they miss the playoffs. I think that's the full end.
So I don't think the dynasty's over.
Okay.
He's definitely on the back nine.
But you don't think he'll win another Super Bowl with the Patriots? If you had to say.
If I had to say no,
Okay.
I don't, because
we definitely saw a decline in his performance, regardless of the lack of receiver personnel.
Just wasn't
he's
making.
had bad receivers his whole career.
Yes.
He's had a couple great
He's
ones.
had
Randy
moments,
Moss,
Wes
and
Welker.
Russ Welker.
Mm-hmm.
But
A lot of the time, he's played with bad receivers.
He has.
He's never really been
on a team like the Kansas City Chiefs where you got weapons across the board.
Mm-hmm.
I heard
There was a rumor about him maybe going to Dallas. I don't think
No
that's
way.
possible in a million
That's
years.
ridiculous.
if Brady's playing football next year, which I think he will, he's going to play for New England. No doubt.
No, I think so. And I think the only reason he would leave is if there was a perfect place where you could just slide in and win games immediately. And you look
There's
at
no perfect
And you look at the
place.
places like Dallas, they'd rather have Dak Prescott because he's so young.
There's no perfect place.
I heard Cleveland, they're not benching Baker at this point. They're way too invested. LA, the Chargers, they're not.
That's the only one that could maybe work.
Maybe them, or I think Chicago.
But I think the Chargers are going to draft a QB and move forward.
Yeah, no, I think so too. So I just don't know if there's a place for Brady outside of New England at this point in his career. And yeah, I think they're done winning Super Bowls. I think he has a couple more years. I think Buffalo, if they continue on the trajectory they're on, I think they could take the division next year.
Next year?
We'll see. It's early, but
We'll see how
I
Allen
think they can.
develops, but
Yeah.
I agree.
And one last thing, just real quick. The Saints, they lost early this year in the playoffs. Drew Brees is aging. Real quick, I think it's really interesting to touch on Teddy Bridgewater. And, he's going to be a free agent again this year. He's the backup after the whole season. He played well when Brees was out. Does he stay in New Orleans, wait for Brees to retire? Because that's a great place
How
to
old
be.
is Bridgewater?
How old is Bridgewater? He's at least 26 or 27.
Yeah, so these
I
are
don't know
the
his
prime years
exact
of his
age.
Career. I would honestly, if I was Teddy, stay in New Orleans.
You would?
Brees is
41. And look,
Yeah.
where I also think Teddy.
I think Sean Payton was able to mask some of the weaknesses that he may possess, and I think Sean Payton
is an excellent offensive play designer.
Yes, he is.
And Brees,
we saw in that playoff game looked really bad, and I don't think Brees is too much longer. I think Brees maybe has 2 more years in the NFL.
NFL.
I think Brees is longer than Brady.
And
But that's beside the point. I'm sorry.
Yeah. But if I was Bridgewater, I'd stay in New Orleans and wait for my opportunity.
Unless you have a perfect place where, maybe the Chargers, like you said, could be a potential team.
They could. But are they ready to move on from Phillip Rivers already?
I would hope they are.
I'm trying to think where else would he go? Though?
Chicago?
That's the thing.
Could he go into Chicago?
It's not about should he leave. It's just about what's the market.
Exactly.
And it seems like the Bears. I think the Bears came out and said they're invested in Trubisky at least for next year too.
All right, then I guess not. And you have
So
these.
where would Teddy go? I think he should stay in New Orleans. Brees got hurt.
Hurt significantly for the first time this year.
Mm-hmm.
He's 41. He's on the decline in his career as well.
Yeah, he's got a
I think
year.
in 2 years Teddy could be the starter there unless they draft a quarterback, but I don't see that happening either.
Yeah.
So I would wait for your time and then look. He went 5-0 as the starter this year.
He
So
did.
he clearly can still play.
Yep.
So.
All right. So yeah, no, I would agree. I think Bridgewater's gonna stay, or at least he should.
I think they're both him.
And Brady will stay.
Yeah. Okay. I think so. You're right. There's not really a big market. You could argue Indianapolis maybe, but Brissett is good enough where they'll probably
How
stick
much
with
better
them.
is Bridgewater than Brissett? That's the question.
True. Again, Bridgewater was in a fantastic offense
Exactly.
in New Orleans. And
I
yeah,
think Sean Payton, like with Kyle Shanahan, is able to mask whatever weaknesses the quarterback.
that's what the
has.
best offensive play callers do.
Exactly.
They can play to their QB strengths and mask their weaknesses. Exactly. All right, so I guess we're on the same page with that, and I think with that, I think we're gonna end the football discussion. I think
so much going on in the
there is quite a lot. We wanted to spend.
There's still a lot to be determined. We got the conference championships this Sunday.
Mm-hmm. Then we got the Super Bowl, so
Exactly.
we'll see how it ends. And then we got free agency right around the corner after that. So we got a lot in the NFL the next few months. And but we're going to go and move on and talk about some NBA basketball. It's been a while, and so we're just going to move on to that now.